Today on the Morning Edition, this morning answers to questions that have been asked since last weekend when a string of drive-by shootings left one man in the hospital and gave several others close calls. Plus, Nikolaevsk has been fighting for their very own charter school for years at this point, but they finally secured approval for it. We have the details. And later, the week of Wicked is coming to an end with the release of Wicked for Good in theaters nationwide. We'll look back over the cast reaction over the past week as they've been in New York for the film, as the Morning Edition starts now. Well, I saw the movie last night and I cried so hard, possibly more than any other movie that I've seen.
Really?
Yeah, it was so good. It was so good.
Interesting. I'll have to watch that.
Yeah, you do.
Interesting. Well, if you want to talk about some weather, I've got some interesting weather updates for you. Now, it is a first alert weather day. Now, that's just mostly for the road conditions this morning as you're heading out. There is a chance for light freezing rain, as well as some light snow showers moving on through, and that's going to happen this morning. And you might even see a little bit of light snow moving in later on tonight as we progress into Saturday. Now, just taking a look right now, there's a beautiful view of the theater, so not a whole lot happening outside right now, but those temperatures are staying just a little bit chilly in the low 30s right now, just below freezing. So we can expect these temperatures to kind of stay stable throughout the early portions of the morning into the early afternoon. So just looking right now, there's that temperature 31 degrees in Anchorage with some clouds in the sky here and there. But we can expect to see a little bit of moisture start to roll into South Central as we progress into the later portion of the morning. Now, just looking at our satellite and radar right now, this is really what I want you to focus on. We've got a little bit of snow showers pushing on through. Now, that's mostly staying out of the way of Anchorage, but here's just a little bit of a closer view. You can see just a little bit popping up here and there, but most of that snow is staying just south into the Kenai Peninsula. You can see that over by Seward, but mostly for Homer and over by Fox River as well. So you can see some mixed precipitation as well as rain and some snow moving on through the area. But I just want to give you a nice little view of your hourly forecast for this morning. So you can see that light snow rolling on through the early portions of the morning. Then as we get into the late portions of the morning around 10 a.m., we're going to have mostly cloudy skies, and those mostly cloudy skies are going to be here to stay with highs reaching around 33 degrees into the early afternoon. So that's really what you can expect to see, but here's just one more look at your headlines for today, and we'll jump into that a little more later on in the show.
A string of drive-by shootings over the weekend left one man injured and frightened several others. Joe Allgood has details on when and where those shootings happened and who's being charged.
2 shots were fired into a home here on Cleven Street, likely from a vehicle out on the road. One through the side window and one through the front door. 3 people, including a 7-year-old, were inside the house, according to court documents. Police responded shortly after 3:40 on Sunday afternoon. There they found the shot that went through the door ended up in a closet, while the other went through the window, destroying a fish tank and killing 3 of the 5 fish. About a half hour later, police responded to another shooting in the area of 4th and Carlock behind me. Once they got there, they found a man, Edgar Foster, with a gunshot wound to his upper left thigh. Foster told police he was walking towards the Brother Francis shelter to get some food when 3 men wearing ski masks pulled up in a car, one of them armed with what looked like a rifle. They got out, shot in his direction twice, hitting him once. Foster underwent emergency surgery at the hospital, which is where the police spoke with him. Police ultimately arrested and charged Michelle Santana and Sal Dion Gant for the shootings, but they weren't done after shooting Foster. Finally, 4 people, including a 5-year-old, were in their car in a parking lot on the 1000 block of 4th Avenue behind me when they were shot at from a vehicle. That same vehicle, or one that matched its description, was then detained, and the 2 suspects were arrested at the Circle K down the block on 5th Avenue. Joe Allgood, Alaska's news source.
Santana and Gant are facing 14 charges that include 1st and 3rd degree assault, weapons misconduct, and criminal mischief. A Chinese plane on a transcontinental flight was due to make a quick refueling stop in Nome, but weather conditions caused a quick change. Charlie Fellows talked with the experts and has new details on what the pilots experienced on an emergency stop.
It's a clear day here at Merrill Airport in downtown Anchorage. planes taking off and leaving without a hitch. But any Alaskan pilot knows that here in the last frontier, things can change in a flash. And if you don't believe me, just ask a pair of Chinese pilots who just had to learn that the hard way.
When we just get there and we descend the altitude to 500 feet and pretty close to the airport in final, we barely can see nothing.
Pilots Ping Wang and Shenghao Lo were en route to South America from China, delivering their plane to a customer in Chile. Their long itinerary of refueling stops included Nome, until the elements had other plans.
The winds are already frozen. Also, when landing is moderate to heavy snow, so we worry about we will stall.
FAA controllers in Anchorage directed the two to land in nearby Teller, a town of about 200 people that, without the help, Ping says they may have never found.
They save our lives. Yes.
Emergency landings like that aren't rare in Alaska.
Weather can be kind of unpredictable, to be honest with you. So we have weather forecasts, we have weather observations, but on a long flight like these folks were on, you're never really sure what you're going to find until you get there.
What Ping and Shenghao did find when they got to Teller were accommodating people who offered food and shelter.
Teller people is very enthusiastic and also is very kind. We really appreciate the Teller people.
All of us here in Alaska know and understand that the weather can change our plans, whether we're traveling by snow machine, boat, dog team, airplane. We all know that weather is going to change our plans at some point. I've actually made some lifelong friends because of being diverted.
And since their stop in Nome was meant to be a refueling one, the two pilots still need to not only fill up their plane with fuel, but also clear off all the ice that's built up. Two problems they're hoping to solve as soon as possible. After that, it's back to the skies, including a stop right here in Anchorage, where they're hoping to avoid any more emergency measures as they continue on toward Chile. Charlie Fellows, Alaska's news source.
We have new details on a major crackdown in Fairbanks. This after police raided 2 locations and shut down what they say was a full-scale illegal gambling operation. Last Friday night, Fairbanks police raided 2 locations, uncovering rooms full of casino-style fish tables and gambling games. Investigators seized equipment worth upwards of $55,000, at least $45,000 in cash, 7 cell phones, 6 computers, and 1 vehicle. The Fairbanks police chief says operations like this have surfaced before, and the department is treating these crimes with urgency.
We've had drugs being dealt in the parking lot of some of these locations. It's suspected that money laundering was going on through these organizations. So when you have something like that, it's going to attract, people that are not doing good things.
The 5 arrested face multiple charges. Every parent wants their children close to home, but for years, many years, children in Nikolaevsk were forced to drive 150 miles a week just to go to school. But after 4 years of persistent effort, Nikolaevsk finally secured approval for its very own charter school. The victory comes after the Kenai Peninsula Borough District approved a charter school with a 5-3 vote. Mariah is one of the parents who dedicated 4 years to this uphill battle. She recalls the immense effort involved in the nail-biting moment when 5 crucial votes would determine a different future for their kids.
We were sitting there just holding our breath, waiting for them to say that we had the vote. That's 5. That's 5. That's 5. It was such an emotional relief.
That emotional vote has paved the way for a new beginning. The Nikolaevsk Charter School is set to open its doors in the fall of 2026, ready to serve the 94 families. Still ahead today on the Morning Edition, our investigative team continues to follow the stories of the evacuees from former Typhoon Malong and how the journey home is going, lined with challenges and barriers. Details just ahead.
And here's a look at your daylight hours for today, as winter weather advisories are scattered across Alaska with light snow expected in almost every region. We'll have more coming up.
So, Bailey, this morning I was driving in to work from East Anchorage and the roads were a little bit slippery, but it wasn't too bad. How was your drive to work?
My drive to work was it also wasn't too bad, but I did see some ice here and there. But I think it's a little bit worse if you're in South Anchorage. I know I'm in East Anchorage, so it wasn't terrible, and I know it was the same for you. But just looking right now at all of our road conditions, you can see that it's pretty wet over in Juneau. We can expect to see even more rain pushing on throughout the day, pretty much all day long in Juneau. That's what we can expect, and that's true for all of Southeast. But even just looking in Fairbanks, you can see just a little bit of light snow, which is also going to continue through the day today and into the weekend. Over in Whittier, you can't even see the camera right now, but I can tell you that the biggest impacts we're paying attention to for hazardous road conditions are across the Turnagain Pass. So that's something for you to know, but in Anchorage, relatively dry, some slippery conditions here and there. So just be cautious. Now looking at our satellite and radar, I wanted to point out to you over in the interior, we have all of these colors. We have special weather statement, winter storm warning, and winter weather advisory. Now, all of these are for relatively the same information, which is that there is light snow on the way for Fairbanks, but then up towards the White Mountains, that's where we can expect to see a little bit more accumulation between 2 to 6 inches. And even in areas like Delta Junction, we can expect to see 1 to 3 inches accumulating into Saturday. But down here in South Central, I do want to focus your attention. After I focus your attention on the interior real quick, you can see some of those spotty snow showers pushing on through, but those are going to increase into the afternoon before tapering off a little bit and picking back up into Saturday. Now, what I was going to show you originally is down here in South Central. You can see right by Homer this winter weather advisory. This is for 1 to 3 inches of accumulation for the rest of this morning into this afternoon. Most of these wintry conditions are going to be in Homer, where we're expecting to see most of that snow for South Central. So otherwise, we're not really expecting to see a whole lot. But as I had mentioned, we are still looking to expect about light snow as well as some freezing rain this morning. But you can even see in the Copper River Basin, lots of moisture pushing on through. This is mostly for rain showers where we can expect about 3/4 of an inch in Cordova and about 1/2 inch over in Whittier. But Whittier is going to see some mixed precipitation with those colder temperatures. So just looking ahead, you can see all of this precipitation is mostly staying true to South Central with this low pressure system right here. And as that begins to shift up, you can notice more snow pushing in by tonight going into Saturday. So that's kind of what those winter weather advisories and those statements are for, is that snow accumulating and pushing through all throughout Saturday. So this is going to continue from Friday into Saturday. But just for South Central, you can see heavier portions of snow expected in Whittier, and then we can also see just a little bit more accumulating down in Homer where those darker colors are. So that's really what you can expect to see. But statewide, we're staying relatively calm with snowy conditions. Not a whole lot expected in Fairbanks by the end of tonight, about 7/10 of an inch expected. But then we'll get into Saturday, just a little bit more snow will begin to accumulate. And then elsewhere across the state, we're not really seeing too high of numbers. This total up in Juneau, this is actually for those higher elevation regions. So this is not going to be in the town itself. That's just in those higher elevations. So just take a look right now at your statewide temperatures for today, with some light snow accumulating for South Central up into the interior.
This morning, continuing coverage of Typhoon Halong's recovery. Last week's Anchorage Town Hall meeting revealed the harsh reality of rebuilding. For some, the emotional toll of starting over is even harder than the physical damage. Augusta McDonald spoke with Kipnik families who are now asking if they can ever truly go home again.
It still feels unreal.
After former Typhoon Halong flooded her Kipnik home, Jamie Paul now lives with her family in this Anchorage hotel.
There's some nights I cry, or some days I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a month later, does it still feel like it was yesterday?
Yeah, it feels like yesterday and unreal, I can't wake up from the nightmare.
Jamie's story shows the reality for thousands of Alaskans Halong impacted. She's one of many from Kipnik trying to find a path forward. That includes filling out FEMA's applications to rebuild her home.
I don't think I want them to rebuild me a house there.
But doesn't want it to be in Kipnik unless the village is moved. The Kipnuk Traditional Council voted to bar anyone from returning to the village unless they're helping clean up until it's safe.
There's too much contamination right now and unsafe.
Council President Daniel Paul says conversations about the future of Kipnuk are still to come.
How soon do you think the village needs to be moved?
As soon as possible.
What that will take, still to be seen.
I think it will be up to the Kipnuk Traditional Council boards to go lobby in Juneau and Washington, D.C. for grants and funding.
For now, many are planning to be in Anchorage for the foreseeable future.
So we're going to have a resource center.
Federal and state disaster response officials held a town hall about the future of Kipnuk last week.
So we have up to 18 months to provide assistance to anybody that's displaced. I don't want to use all of that. I want to get all of you back into your communities and into your homes. That's our collective goal.
But we miss having native food.
For Jamie Paul and so many others from villages impacted by Halong, those 18 months represent both hope and uncertainty.
At the same time, I want to go back, but at the same time, I don't want to.
As they wait to see what home will look like in the future. Augusta McDonald, Alaska's news source.
If you have a tip, you can reach us at 2investigates@ktuu.com.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcasts from Alaska's news source automatically and stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's news source app.